you went into streams and
We're live on both right now.
perfect. Oh,
Yep, so we're live and rolling.
all right, Eric.
We are live and rolling. Okay. Welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come in here to the Chronicle and for our debates for the Centralia City Council. Today, right now, we've got the incumbent Cameron Mcgee and the challenger Lisa Stridinger. And we're going to start off. We'll give. We have 6 questions. We'll allow each person 2 minutes for an introduction and 2 minutes to answer each question, and then 2 minutes in closing, with the opportunity for rebuttal. So we will start off with a 2-minute introduction with you, Lisa.
Thank you, thank you, Todd. Hello, my name is Lisa Stridinger, and I am running for Centralia City Council District 1. I am running with the mindset with the people. I don't really come here with a high status or wealth prestige, but I do come here with great lived experience and come here with a wide view to serve our community with a unique qualification. And I'm very happy and blessed to be here.
Thank you, Lisa. And Cameron.
Cameron Mcgee. I'm currently in my 4th year on City Council. I've spent all 4 of those years as on the financial committee for the city. I'm currently the chair of the financial committee. I am on the EDC board. I'm on the Chamber of Commerce board. I was on the board for young professionals of Lewis County. I'm on the board for Lewis County Historical Museum. Just born and raised here. I've been super involved in the community. I've had a successful business for the last 12 years now, and have just really tried to get involved as that's grown and been around.
Perfect.
Can I add 30 seconds?
Certainly.
I am also a committee member on the Emergency Food and Shelter Board for the FEMA. I sit also on the Affordable Housing State Advisory Board for the governor. I own an organization, 501c3 charitable nonprofit called Friends Without Homes for the last 5 years. I'm heavily involved in the community in all aspects of homelessness and recovery. I'm also a strong advocate up at state, local, and people level.
Thank you. All right, question number 1, Cameron. If someone came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of public infrastructure in our city, a road, bridge, etc., how would you evaluate whether or not that project was worth implementing?
Honestly, at this point in time, with what we've been doing with the EDC and how we are working together to collaborate on those things, I'd initially go and look at the new GIS map that we're working on. So we can see if there's any other projects in that area, anything that we can tie that into, what the funding looks like, what that project, really looking and seeing and digging in whether or not we have the infrastructure in place for it currently, if it is just a road or if it is just building for development, whether or not we have sewer in line, any of those things that we could build as well to make it a multi-part project versus just a single project, if we can, to make our dollars stretch farther. And then, the viability of whether or not that is something that's going to be in line with the city's strategic priorities.
Thank you, Cameron. And Lisa, for you, I'll restate the question. If someone came to you with a proposal to build a new piece of public infrastructure in our city, roads, bridge, etc., how would you evaluate whether or not that project was worth implementing?
Well, it's a good question. First of all, I'd get all of the information as much as that could be possibly given to me at that time, with the aspect of hopefully gaining more information as I look into it more. I would talk with the Planning Commission, the citizens of the community, and kind of work my way up, because really you can't just jump into it and find out all these questions at once. So it's really a step-by-step plan. And one thing I would make sure of it, that it gets done. If we're going to do something and somebody wants to come into our city and they want to make it happen, if it's good for our cities and it's good for our revenue and good for our community, let's find a way to make it happen, and let's do it in a due time.
Thank you. All right, question number 2, back to you, Lisa. All individuals have a past history in their personal and professional lives. Before you enter the public life, is there anything you want your constituents or potential constituents to know about you and your past?
Absolutely. Myself, I'm a pretty simple person. I come, like I said, not from a background of wealth or prestige or anything like that. I was raised on food stamps, hamburger helper, and top ramen, but a lot of love. And I do actually believe that my past brings me to the qualifications of today. If you say go to a counselor and you want that counselor to understand you and to hear you, You want somebody with a lived experience, somebody that can really relate. And I have a superpower of relatability to relate to our community members. I believe my past has molded the person who I am today. I have lived a life of servanthood and hospitality, all the way up to today where I am still serving the community here and also in other communities. My past brings a lived experience of almost a master's degree. And that master's degree gives me such a variety of tools to help my community and to be able to see through the lenses of our community, because, you know, I'm here for the people. I'm not here for the people that are already being taken care of. People that have those prestigious, I'm not going to say that I'm not there for them, because I am. I'm there for everybody that needs to be heard and to be able to make our community a great place. But I'm here for people that aren't being heard, the underdogs, so the society says, the people that want these changes but don't see them happening, those people that can't afford the sports or they can't afford to cruise down to girls' night out and all that stuff. I'm here to listen to how I can bring the community members that aren't getting their voices heard. So my past is a very, very vivid, broad lens of what life can bring when you haven't gotten the golden spoon. But I can honestly tell you that the tools that I carry into this position are vital and give me the unique qualifications to sit here on the council for this community.
Thank you, Lisa. And Cameron, I'll restate the question. All individuals have a past history in their personal and professional lives. Before you continue in your public life, is there anything you want your constituents or potential constituents to know about you and your past?
Honestly, as a small business owner in a small community, when you start working in the community, you're kind of just public at that point, even prior to being on council. I've been running a business since I was 21 years old. So the majority of my life outside of high school at this point, I've been in the public. I'm born and raised here. I've got 6 kids. They're all in school in Edison. Well, 5 of them are in school. One of them's still a little too young. So I'm heavily invested in the community and the future and the prosperity of Centralia. I want to see it thrive. I want it to be a place for everybody. I want it to build it out and be what it can be, and continue to work towards doing those things. Other than that, fairly boring. No criminal history. No, I just went to school, started businesses.
Thank you. All right, question number 3. We'll continue with you, Cameron. How would you address the current homelessness issues in our area?
I think we're actually working towards a great, we're on a great path for that right now. We're working together, we're collaborating. We're doing the housing summit here shortly. We're doing a housing study right now as well. With HB 1220, we just went through and made sure that we could rezone everything properly to where we can get more of the permanent supportive housing that we need, where we need it in the correct areas. We are in the process of, opening up more development. We need houses at all levels to help that issue. It's not just there's a blockage in the pipeline. Bottlenecks quite a bit when we get to the mid to high level housing. So we need to make sure that we're catering to all levels and not just building the low end, because that doesn't help move people through transition them out of homelessness. It just, finds them a place temporarily, or long-term keeps them in short-term housing. So I think that we're working in a good direction with that right now as a city and with the county as well. So partnering with our community partners and continue to move forward that way.
Thank you. And Lisa, for you, the same question. How would you like to address current homelessness issues in our area?
I've been actually addressing the current homelessness issues since 2016, since I experienced homelessness myself for a short time. When I became homeless in this community, I saw a disparity that broke my heart. That's when I began my nonprofit, and I've seen some amazing changes in this community, and I do want to say it's because of many advocates, including myself, bringing a beacon of light to Lewis County, saying all the way up to state levels, hey, here we are, Lewis County, look at us. We need housing. It's been 4 years. We still have no new shelters. We don't have a cold shelter coming this year, as far as I know, except for an entry only through coordinated entry. We don't have places for our community members that are homeless right now. And I'm doing everything in my power to try to bring evidence-based practices. I work in permanent supportive houses. I'm a housing case manager. Unfortunately, I've been internally oppressed to work outside of a community, and that's what made me want to run for city council. I have some amazing ideas, some amazing solutions, but nobody calls me. Nobody emails me, even if I email back. So that's one reason why I'm running for city council, because we need more than housing. We need housing solutions. We need homelessness solutions. When I get phone calls from women and children, veterans and elderly on the streets at all hours of the night, And all I can provide them is a sleeping bag and a resource that doesn't really give them the needs that they want, because we don't have the services available. You go to Olympia and they're spread out and all over, but here, no. So I'm here to bring solutions, and I know some really amazing evidence-based practices that are being used all across the state, not just housing. We have a homeless crisis right now. Our veterans, our elderly, our children, our families, our single people, they need solutions, and they need a place to rest their head at night until we can find them.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, question number 4. I'm going to continue on with you, Lisa. This is a long one, so you might need to write something down. I don't know, but I'll go through it slowly. Each year, local governments may choose to increase their local property tax levy by the lesser of 1% or the implicit price deflator. The local government can, these are the 3 choices they can do, vote to increase the property tax levy, vote to not increase the property tax levy and not bank the increase for future need, or vote to not increase the property tax levy and bank the increase to be taxed at a later time if needed. So if you were a Centralia City Council member, what would your decision be and why?
Well, I've actually talked to the community members going through door knocking and trying to just get a view of what people are talking about out there. And people who don't want their property taxes raised, they are taxed to the extent. If it's banking those taxes to ensure that we don't have to raise taxes, then that's definitely what would be needed. But I would find, strategies with collaboration through the community leaders and even the community to find out how we can bring tax revenue to our community in order to not have to raise our taxes.
Thank you. Cameron, same question. I'll restate the question.
Sorry, I got it.
You got it? Okay, you're good.
I would vote to bank it. We don't need it right now. We may need it in the future. Banking it gives us that possibility where we could use it in the future if necessary, but only if necessary. And it would have to be voted on by the council to pull that at that point. But we don't need to raise them by 1%. I think it's around $7,000 is what that increase is, or was the last few years. We don't need that. We've been fiscally responsible with our money for quite a while now. We've done a really good job as a city. That I think that when it's time and we do need that, we'll be ready for it. But there's no need to raise them now.
Perfect. All right. We'll continue on to question number 5 with you, Cameron. Our community, like many, is in need of more housing inventory for all income levels. What 3 things, either city code revisions or budget investments, do you believe the city can do to create greater housing development?
Okay, so with that, number 1, we need sewer, but we don't need to just build infrastructure. That's one thing, but we need to choose our areas that we build it in. We need to plan accordingly. We need smart growth, so we need to pick the areas that's going to have the most bang for their buck. So running sewer lines down the areas and opening up new development in those processes. Part of that with the city, though, is that a lot of our growth is in the UGA. So if we do spend millions of dollars on putting in a sewer line and it opens up a bunch of county properties, we're going to not see that sales tax to help us pay back the money that we just put into it. So we need to work with the county in our local agreements of some sort, or have hope properties are annexed in and then pushing into those directions. So we need smart growth in the good areas that we can build and not put in. Obviously, we have a lot of land, but a lot of it's in floodplain. The other thing that we need to do is like what we're doing with the streetscape project. We need to encourage development, encourage people to want to build here, and a part of that is helping the city feel cohesive and making it look good. And that's what some of this is doing. It's going to have better everything all the way across the board. We're going to be more connected. It'll feel like the same city when you get off Harrison as you do when you get off Mellon as when you do downtown. The signage is going to be better. The college is a great opportunity, so working with partners to make it more enticing. And then just making sure that we're zoning things appropriately. We just went through some zoning and code revisions for a few properties that have been requested that are looking at, and we're actually doing our due diligence on them and looking at how they're going to impact traffic studies or traffic in the area and that kind of thing as well. So picking the right areas and building smart growth. So infrastructure, smart infrastructure, working with our partners, and making it an enticing place to live.
Thank you. And Lisa, same question to you. I'll restate it. Our community, like many, is in need of more housing inventory for all income levels. What 3 things, either city code revisions or budget investments, do you believe the city can do to create greater housing development?
I think they have started with changing some of the city codes. I understand it took the state to come down with House Bill 1220 to mandate that change, but that's just for permanent supported housing. So I would really go out and talk to the community members. Once again, it's really about the community, seeing what they need. I know so many community members that are doubled up and tripled up in housing, and maybe trying to change the language in some of the housing language, saying that you are homeless if this happens, or if you're sleeping on somebody's couch, you're really not homeless. So just trying to look into the logistics of it, of what's keeping people not housed. What are the barriers to the housing? What are these vouchers that people are getting? Are they really being fidelity reviewed? Are they going through to the places they need to be? Are they just getting these vouchers and being emptied? So we can build all the housing we want, but are we going to put people in the housing? So let's make sure that we're checks and balances, and that we're doing our due diligence to make sure that these things are happening, because for the last 5 years, I've seen people drag their coattails on housing. And enough about infrastructure. Let's get it done. Let's build some housing. Let's do it.
Okay, thank you. Next question, we'll continue on with you, Lisa. This is the final question as well. Why should the taxpayer vote for you over your opponent for this position?
It's an amazing question, and everybody should ask that. And you should look into the person, and you should ask them questions, and challenging questions, and make sure that those people are willing to have challenging communication and questions answered. Reason why people should vote for me, I have the tenacity and the fortitude to sit in this position. If you can't handle the opposition, you don't deserve the position. And I have had opposition at every side, just trying to get housing into this community. But I don't stop, and I keep on going with the true grit that it takes for a community member that says, hey, I don't see the changes that I need to be seeing for the wellment and the betterment of our community. And I might not speak the best, and I might not have all my words together, but I am an educated, amazing person, has a lot of brains in this head. I do have an AA in chemical dependency. I have 3 pre-apprenticeships in the carpentry trade, the laborer's trade, the ironworker's trade. I have a horticulture degree. I mean, I'm a mom of 3 kids, a grandmother, and I'm there for the community members. You want somebody to stand up with you? I'm that person. We might not agree on the view, but if that's your belief and you need somebody to stand up for you and say, hey, I need an advocate, call me. I get calls all time of the night. I am the person that is here for the people. People, oh, you're a politician. I'm a people-tician. I don't run in for city council because I want to be the coolest person in the seat. I want to see our community be amazing. My mama brought me here in '94, and she said, I want to live here. My whole family lives here. My grandkids live here. You should vote for me, because I'm the kind of person that would vote for you if you were doing the right thing out there in the community, and you were willing to make the changes, and you were willing to stand up and make those changes, no matter what they were, if it was for the betterment of the community. I'm your girl. I could say I'm your woman. I'm around a lot of kids, so I'm your girl, but I'm your woman. And if you want somebody to stand with you and you want them to stand strong, vote Stridinger.
Thank you, Lisa. And Cameron, same question to you. Why should the taxpayer vote for you over your opponent for this position?
Honestly, I'm heavily invested in the community. I spent my entire life here. My kids go to school here. I've got business here. We work with a lot of the nonprofits. I have the experience within the council, but only outside of that as well, as building a business in this town, building the relationships, collaboration. It's the thing that I've been working for and pushing for with all of our boards, with all of our council things. I want to talk to people. I want to work with them. Dealing with our community partners, getting things done like the ULC, where we're working with that, working with the EDC to get the infrastructure in for the ARPA funds. All of those things are things that are progress towards that, and it's a goal I've had since the beginning I've been on here. So I want to see people work together. I want to make the community better, and I want to keep thriving. I want it to keep thriving.
Okay, well, that concludes the questions, and now I will give each one of you 2 minutes for your closing remarks, and we'll continue with you, Cameron.
Just honestly, I'd like to say I'd really appreciate the last 3.5 years that I've gotten to serve the council, and I'd like to continue to do it. So I hope that I've been a good job and been a good steward of the city, and please vote for me.
Thank you. Lisa?
Well, I appreciate the time and to get out here and say hello to the community members. If you vote for me, I promise to do the 100% plus another 10% with integrity, diligence, and transparency. If you have a question, you need to know something, you want to sit down, you have a concern, whether I win or lose, I'm here to listen, and I will bring that concern to the city council whether I'm on a seat or not. So vote for me. I certainly greatly, and humbly appreciate your support. Vote straight.
Well, thank you. I'd like to thank each of you for taking time out of your day to come here and promote your candidacy. And that's pretty much the end of this portion of the debate. We have another debate coming up shortly at 5:30, and we'll see everybody online then. And thank you for your time, and have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone.